Good morning, Holly.
How was your weekend?
I had a really good weekend. I spent Saturday in Dramara at my local demonstration, one of 18 demonstrations. That didn't receive any coverage on the media apart from...
Look at you doing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get my plug in now because there's so much work going to all of those demonstrations, and we have to get the word out for the Southwest Down demonstration. But I mean, there were thousands of people that enjoyed that in the sunshine. Many thousands of people. I know that there were many thousands of people there because I was on the car park trying to lift the money off them as they were coming through the gate, and we had a fantastic day in a village, one might add, which has a very large nationalist population, and there was everybody came out and enjoyed it. In fact, it's one of the biggest 12ths I have ever witnessed from the beginning of the parade, the assembly field, right until the demonstration field.
I was joking. I didn't really want you to go and tell me all about it. Tell me though. You said it yourself. You were at your local event, and I think that stands for a lot of people. They went to their local event. How many people there do you think were tourists?
I think that there is huge tourism potential for the 12th of July. A lot of the people that are going to be at any demonstration are going to be at their local people. They're going to be people who are going to be there to see their local bands, going to see their neighbours and their friends. But there's also huge potential for the 12th. And we need to remember, Holly, that when it comes to somewhere like Belfast, where there has been these foolish comments from Sinead McLaughlin, who frankly doesn't know what she's talking about. And I suspect that if you wanted to get an insight into the busyness of businesses and hotels in Belfast, you wouldn't go to a Foyle MLA to ask. But one of the things that I would
I think the point, though, just to defend, they are closed, the shops. They are closed.
It is impossible to get a hotel room in the lead up to the 12th of July because people come over to watch it. And here's one of the other points, Holly, and it's the abysmal failure of the agencies that should be promoting Northern Ireland on the world stage to promote what is a wonderful and fantastic event. If Discover Northern Ireland can promote all of the other events that take place in Belfast, it should also be promoting the 12th of July.
As I was saying, I mean, despite what you think of Sinead McLaughlin's comments, she is right. A lot of the coffee shops and the restaurants and the shops, they're shut.
Well, Sinead McLaughlin is wrong. And I'll tell you why she's wrong. I'll tell you why she's wrong. I'll tell you what happened what I saw at Dramara. I saw local businesses that I see every week of the year who had set up stalls, particularly those selling eatables, and they had a roaring day's trade. Much more, and I know from talking to the district secretary that we were inundated with businesses wanting to set up stalls and to take advantage of the huge opportunities that there were. And they did a roaring trade across the board, all of those places that actually went to where the people were in on the 12th of July. And if you went to that's the largest event that Dramara has held since the 12th was last there, and it'll probably have to wait until the 12th of July in 10 years' time, or actually 15 years' time, before it has an event of similar scale. And that is a huge opportunity for local businesses. And whether Sinead McLaughlin likes to acknowledge it or not, an awful lot of businesses have the nous and the ability to utilise that and to take advantage of all those potential customers.
I suppose putting a tourism hat on, you know, from a tourism and eye point of view, tourism's about making money, isn't it? Is it doing that? Is it bringing money into the local community?
Well, we know from the 2013 report that was commissioned back then by an independent company to look at the social and economic impact of the 12th of July, that 13 years ago it was bringing in £55 million a year. If you adjust that figure for inflation, that's coming in at about £75 million a year now.
£75 million?
£75 million. That was an independent report on the socio-economic impact of the 12th in 2013 found that it was bringing in 55 million. If you adjust that for inflation, it would be about 75.
There you go. Well, let's speak to Simon Calder, who is a travel journalist. We all know him, friend of the show. Hello, good morning, Simon.
Good morning. Fascinating discussion so far. My point of view is that, of course, Northern Ireland remains absolutely the one part of the UK which does not receive anything like the visitors coming in that it should. And arguably, it's the one country in Western Europe, which is still not receiving as many visitors who should be going there. And I do all I can to make people aware of the astonishing warm welcome, the deep culture, wonderful countryside, and of course the great people. But and it's most definitely the case that the Troubles are part of the tourism picture.
How come? Why is that?
Well, because people find, of course, without wishing in any way to make light of the terrible tragedies which have afflicted so many people over the decades, the fact of, for example, the peace war in Belfast, the fact of the free Derry tours in Derry, Londonderry, mean that people are fascinated by what they have seen, for some decades on screen, and they want to find the real story behind it. Now, I absolutely accept that the events of the 12th are a real driver economically, but I would suggest that that is mostly for people with family connections with Northern Ireland and celebrating the Orange Order who will be coming to Northern Ireland. I don't think, given that it is still a very divisive event for a lot of people, that it should be promoted. Certainly, yes, openly talk about the terrible events of the last decades of the 20th century, but something which I think is still raw, from talking to people, I think it would not be appropriate to make it part of the tourism offering. And actually, from a purely pragmatic point of view, given that all the hotels are...
Has Simon ever been to the 12?
I haven't, no.
Here's my challenge to you, Simon. You just say that it shouldn't be promoted. You have missed a key aspect of the tourism offering of Northern Ireland. And I'm going to invite you here and now to the South West Down demonstration on the 12th of July next year. You're more than welcome to join us. We'll even provide you with your tea after the event. And I have no doubt, and I say this in all sincerity, I have no doubt that you will see that there is a massive tourism potential from that. One of the difficulties with Northern Ireland comes from the channel on which you're on at the moment, BBC Northern Ireland, because there was a relentless campaign against the 12th of July in the build-up to it. The day came, the day was enjoyed, the day was passed incident-free, trouble-free, and the BBC were left with egg on their face. So I would encourage people to come across. It does not generate anything like the controversy that some people would like it to generate. And the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of people that, for political reasons, wish the 12th would just go away.
So,
because
Sammy,
their problem with the 12th is the 12th.
Sammy, are you denying that the bonfires that were discussed on the programme last week and across the BBC and across the news and actually internationally were controversial, that there were legitimate concerns?
I'm denying the bonfires that were covered by the BBC in the manner in which they were and given wall-to-wall coverage was merited a fraction of that coverage. I absolutely deny that.
Well, look, first of all, in terms of Simon's invitation, knowing Simon, he probably will take you up on that at some point. But what Simon is trying to say, I will indeed, what Simon is trying to say is that there is a view, and whether or not you agree with that view, that is something that you have no control over. But it exists. That is the view. That is how people outside of this country can very often view it. And therefore, what's being done to try to change that perception, to get people to see it from your point of view, because quite simply they don't.
Well, one of the key problems, Holly, is your organisation, because they pump out a relentless propaganda against the 12th. But here, I'm going to say something positive about the BBC.
Oh, come on, flatter us.
Everyone inside the BBC, everyone in your own programme, and particularly everyone in Talkback, should be strapped to a chair and forced to watch the BBC hour-long special of highlights on the 12th that was broadcast on Saturday night. It was excellent. It gave a spectator's perspective on the 12th, and it told the story of the band, it told something of the heritage, it told a little bit of the history. And there is no reason why the BBC could not find stories like that they could feed out throughout the build-up to the 12th. But here's the problem, Holly, and here's the difficulty that some people have. There is an obsession in elements of the media that we're all just around the corner from this all-Ireland state. And the fact that the 12th exists is a problem for those people, because tens of thousands of people come out every year to celebrate their Britishness, to celebrate their identity, and they do it in a fashion, and they do it in a style, and they do it with dignity that has nothing to match it inside nationalism. That's the problem that people have with the 12th of July. And that's why some people want to say, well, that's controversial. We don't want to promote that.
030 30 80